Oh, what's up? What's up? What's up? All right, we are going to work on some projects here that we're going to work on two major things. One of them is going to be a client build, and one of them is going to be my personal setup for something I've been wanting to do for a while. I have a Vercel that I need to deploy. So if you've ever been curious about Vercel, I'm going to walk you through deploying on Vercel, and then also a GitHub that we need to deploy in order to make this stuff possible. So the client one, I think if you haven't been here and you're catching up, the client one is something that I'm looking through to audit currently and to come up with a plan for them to understand what's going on with their code, understand why it needs some edits, why it needs to change in certain ways, and why their build could be better. So I'm doing a lot of things to prepare that document, to simplify the document, to make it so that non-technical people can see this document and know what they need to make. Okay. So I want to show you a couple of components of this, and then you will be able to see kind of my thought process in all this so that if you need to do this yourself, the audit process can be your biggest selling point or where you lose the job entirely. Okay. I want you to understand that. Like, you can use the audit to sell your skills and make it fantastic. People will love you. People will say, oh my God, this is exactly what we're looking for. And this guy knows what to do. Or you can completely make an ass of yourself and make it so that people are not willing to work with you. Okay. So I need to go ahead and do a couple things here. And I'm going to show you. So let me do this. Type screen, screen two. And here we are. Okay. So I'm inside of Claude. I'm inside of a specific conversation with one project called the H2O project. And then on the right-hand side, I am creating a deck that I can go in and fix a little bit. And then I'm going to use this to present to the client what I think we need to change about their build. So, this is a part of the vibe coding that is kind of helping someone through the process as well. I'm not just building my own project and, that's it. I'm walking someone through how to get their vibe coded project into real production and make it smooth. So I was looking at this here. I need to change this. This has nothing to do with this. And I'm just going to go further simplify. Sometimes I don't like how confident Claude can be when it's making me stuff. And so I just want it to be simple and easy and straightforward. And it wants to do all these cool tricks and tips and stuff that I just don't want to do. I just don't want to do it. It's straight up at the end of the day. So what I need to do is let this thing get a little bit less of what it was doing by just saying simplify. So I'm checking the phones now and then letting this stuff go. Letting it cook. Can you hear this music? Okay, we're gonna move it into PowerPoint now, so I can actually mess around with these specifics. I wish you could move it into Figma, but doesn't look like it. Just removing stuff to remove clutter. Like this is just a basic, introductory page, so I don't want to add in too much clutter, and there's no need for it. It doesn't add anything. Come here, you dumbass. There we go. So see, the thing about API or the thing about Claude and stuff is that it just throws in a bunch of stuff, man. These are not like technically wrong. These are all technically correct, but it doesn't like a human doesn't consume this stuff in a simple way. A human looks at this stuff and they're like, what what does this mean? What does this mean to me? How does this actually make a difference in my business or not? And so I have to do the job of being like an editor and making sure that we can go through and have that sort of check of no, this will work, right? So right here, we're trying to paint the picture initially, like in a sales call, right? You have the discovery and you have issues and the reasons why. I don't want to like make these. Let me see if I can do. What's the color? This one custom. Okay. I'm gonna do them all this because there's no reason why any of these should be worse or better than the other, honestly. So we're just gonna do red. And this is not like this needs to be rewritten to be more general. Like, so far the build has a general purpose, but has accumulated a lot of tech debt. Oops. Meaning there is bloat and inefficiency. In both the front and back end. Without addressing these issues, it's highly likely that future problems will arise in the form of users breaking, users finding bugs, integrations breaking on external breaking, and future code-based changes having unintended second-order effects. Something like that, right? Just a summary, and then some examples. Okay. This is when PowerPoint starts to annoy the living hell out of me. I'm just gonna say critical gaps. There we go. I don't even know if they have API key exposure right now. I guess they have RLS gaps. I'm going to say for security, bloated code base. This is where you're, to be crass right now, this is where you're kind of making someone feel overweight if you're going to sell them, medical stuff. This is where you're making someone feel insecure if you're going to sell them something else. And a lot of times, obviously, this is what they're paying you to do, right? So don't feel like you're doing something like that. You're going to do complicated architecture. I'm going to be confusing user experience. I'm not just naming the sections, I'm naming the problem. Poor security, bloated code base, complicated architecture, confusing user experience. No hero section, broken navigation. There you go. Right? And so now we're going into like performing a solution. Remove this. This is already like kind of understood. I don't know why we're going through this again. Like, I don't know if I like this slide at all, so I'm just gonna delete it. A little trick I have is just delete it, and if I don't miss it, then I didn't really care, So I'm gonna just go here. So I hate these titles. These titles are horrible. This is still kind of in the same ballpark. I kind of just want this to be a further explanation of what we're doing over here. I'm just going to call this diving deeper. I'm going to make this smaller. I'm probably going to, oops, move this a little bit. Here, again, these are like kind of useless pages actually. Man, I really don't like this actually. All right, so I really don't like that. Okay. So now I'm left with only like 3 slides here, right? And this deck is supposed to accomplish 2 things. One, it's supposed to audit the current thing and highlight the issues with it, potential or current issues with it, and then also sell the next phase, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add something here, and then this is going to probably change later, but I'm going to add in the mock-up that I have over here that is, oh, this is actually another version of a deck that I was thinking about doing. Let me see what's over here actually. Oh my gosh, I'm all turned around here. The deck. I actually like this better already. Yes, I actually like this better. Yeah, I like this better. Can I take this into download as PDF, download as PPX, send to Canva, PPTX. Okay, it's fine.
Oh, it lost all of its sauce, man. Kind of lost all of its sauce, huh? Let me try something else here. All right, whatever. I specifically don't like this whole measurement of critical, moderate, and low, like to be shown outside, because when people see that, they're just like, all right, fine, let's just take care of the critical and forget about the other ones. But the other ones are still a big deal. And you just want them to like, just let them use their imagination for what it might mean for them. You know, it's like if you tell someone that they have like, issues with their tires or issues with their oil and stuff, if they don't know, they let their imagination take them a little further than what your explanation can do. And yes, you can try to like, probe into it and make it a little bit more fearful, but I'm talking about specifically like in a deck, right? If you're not in a conversation with them, use the conversation to paint the picture a little bit further. But as far as like a deck, just let the deck be the deck itself. And you don't have to worry about like, showing the value of a fix or something like that before it's really fixed. Like there's no reason to do that in my opinion. So I've never liked these sorts of things, and I always just try to make these all issues. Like these are all, and that's the truth too. It's like they're all issues. Like why would you say that one's less of an issue than the other? It's like if people don't have a budget, I guess. Sure, you can have that be like, okay, they don't have like a budget, so have a problem there. But I think it's like kind of stupid. There you go. So I don't know which one I'm going to use actually. I do like this, and I do like this part. This is my favorite page because it's got. I like this one too. I like this audit a lot. Hmm. How would I combine the two? I'm trying to think if there's going to be a lot more to this audit, because if there is, then part of me is thinking like, oh, I don't know. And a good trick that I want to do is go through the actual build with Loom on and recording myself. Maybe not even Loom on, just Whisperflow on, and I'm recording myself going through and picking it apart and making sure that I have like the user experience stuff in there as well. And that's been like something I've been debating of like, okay, should I make each of these sections like their own page? And I don't know if I should actually, you know. I'm gonna say general issues. General issues. This is kind of repeating the same thing over here, I guess. Hmm. I think that offline HTML capture makes sense right now, but I don't want to propose it just yet because it's going to be something that they're going to hold us to, and I need to think it through. Uh, Stop. What if I go something like this? I'm liking this actually. Okay. Yeah, I think the last thing that I need to do is just make sure that I reduce. This is where I would start just like making changes. This is where I would just start making changes. And so I'm at the point now of creating like a demo for these individuals so they could see what we could potentially build for them. And this is like a huge part of this type of stuff. It's like you don't just build this stuff to say, here's an issue, here's an issue, here's an issue. You build this stuff so that they can sell themselves on working with you. You know what I mean? Sell themselves on working with you. I hate this thing so much. This little area right here, I hate this thing so much. Right here. Remove this in image. Add a um, kind of image, you know, showing the idea of clarity instead. Reduce. Oh, that's fine. I just want to see what it comes with because I've just been hating this. This should be down below here. This is. I hate this. I don't know if any of this is real. That's a little bit better. It's a little bit better. But again, this is where it's like I could prompt this thing to hell, or I could just open this up in Figma and work on it. But they don't have that yet. They have Canva. Hand off to Claude Code. That's cool. Could I do this as a GIF? Interesting. Hmm. Hmm. I'm gonna try something and say, make it lower fidelity. What's the word? Captions. So again, this is where it's like, how much do I explain this versus just like start getting into the doing of it, you know? And I'm at the point of just like, let me just start working on this thing already. I've gone through most of it. You know what? That's what we're gonna do. Last thing here is we're going to basically roast this whole thing. All right. So we're gonna do one roast, and then I'm gonna put that into my situation, and we're gonna see what's going on with this. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to turn on Whisperflow, and I'm going to dictate my experience, and it's going to be quite scattered. I'm going to be annoyed at myself, and a lot of it's going to be wasteful, but we're going to find some particular things that are probably going to be really powerful. Okay, so let's pause the music, and I'm going to do this. Okie dokie. Okay, this is a UX analysis of upstream H2O. Upon first screen, there is too many things going on. There are too many things going on. There is a terms of use modal with a checkbox and accept and continue. This is a high point of friction because we don't want people to be scared away from using our tool. Terms of use is important, but it can be tucked away separately. It doesn't have to be the very first thing that someone sees. You don't put a contract in front of someone before they are ready to buy. So we're going to just accept and continue, and we're going to make a note about that. And then here, about standard operating procedures, this is defining SOPs and kind of selling SOPs. And we shouldn't be doing that in a modal, right? We don't really need to over-explain what an SOP is. We don't really need to tell people why these are important in this way, not in this modal blocking the entire app. This is what the hero section is for. And then there's another terms and conditions, which is
already too much clicking for one thing, all right? And then the show test API, this is something that I know was put in there because of like testing protocol. Like if you build something in Bolt or Lovable and you want to test the LLM, it'll actually build this button into it. And it's good for testing, but you need to remove it later. And so we need to remove that. So we're going to proceed. And now we're finally on the home page. On this home page, I've already talked about how 2/3 of this screen from here down to here is wasted. It's duplicated icon, title, and subheadline. And we need to simplify that and make it all smaller. Also, we need to choose one style of icons to have some visual consistency. Second thing is the key features need to be simplified. 3 max. We don't need to have another key test LLM thing. And then to say show terms, we don't need to have that up. People should know what SOP is, or you should explain it in one very simple thing that is visual here. Here we have another modal. What is a complete SOP document for critical equipment? This is basically another way to explain the same thing. So this is, I don't know if this is saying, so this is kind of trying to say that our SOPs are better than general SOPs, but I don't like the way it's another modal. It's too many things popping up. It feels like a lot going on. This image is bad. It doesn't showcase the product itself. It looks like a mock-up. I can't read anything on that screen. The SOP management dashboard I already talked about, it taking me away to a different place right here is, again, too much complexity. So I don't want to have this. I don't want to be taken somewhere else when I'm not yet through the hero section as it needs to be, or the main page as it needs to be. And then down below, we have the actual tool itself. We have the how it works, again, being another modal, again, talking and over explaining SOPs. And here's the thing too, like when you have a title, a headline, and then like a little note for everything, it turns this one step into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 steps. Here's another 6 or 5. Here's another 5. And here's another 3. And so this entire thing that should be a 4-step process is now this entire thing that's like 25, 30 steps. And no one's probably going to read that. And if they do, they're going to be confused. And if they do, you've just wasted all their time. The color changes, I don't like them in this case because they're not adding clarity. I don't think they're adding clarity. They're making it more confusing and making it seem like there's a different product. And then changing this being somewhere and not being somewhere else, like this being on this one and this one, it's on laboratory and equipment, but not process SOP. It's very strange. So I can't tell if you want me to use this finder or if you want me to have my own documents, right? And, you know, I'm not going to upload something that I don't feel comfortable with. So there's that. Then we're into the creating the new SOP. And this is essentially the whole lookup thing in and of itself already. So we're just doing a lot of like over explaining in a bad way. Again, more modals. Again, more modals. It's like, we don't need this many modals. This is too many modals. This is horrible. I already talked about this, the leaving page, save changes thing. It's like, no, leave. I don't like as many, all the checkboxes that they make me do. Okay, so compliance docs, manage NPDES manuals, safety regulation, other compliance docs. I think this is probably just like a nice to have. I don't know why these documents are here. Flags, compliance flags. I don't know why this is here and how this relates to SOPs either. Maybe they're saying like through your SOPs, you have to have compliance. And so this is something that like helps people. Agencies, I don't understand if you're like a user and you're going to be managing other agencies and their SOPs underneath this, or what the goal is for this. And then privileges, this is like assuming that you want other people to use this. And so like there's the company that owns this product, and then they're bringing in agencies, and then those agencies are bringing in people. I think that's what they're thinking about, but that doesn't make a lot of sense right now. And this is way too much. This is very scary for people to deal with because there's a lot of terms that they might not use. You know, one person's water admin is different than another person's water admin. and what's a super admin versus a user versus a viewer, and like what's all this stuff, what's user admin to what are user admin. It's just like all this stuff is leaving in too much of the technical stuff, jargon, for people that it's going to put them in a lot of trouble. So a lot of annoying stuff going on here. And it's funny because it feels like a simple app, but we have components over here that are 10,000 lines long. This is a lot of components on a general level. And then also individually, they're pretty long. This one's not that long. This one's decently long. And, you know, there's a lot of modals, man, a lot of modals, which is like hidden information fundamentally. And if you can look at this one, 1,000 lines for a modal, lab procedure generation modal. I don't even know if I've clicked on that one. To be honest with you, I think there's a few in here that just don't even exist anymore. So a lot of stuff going on. We need to get better. So let me go back to Claude. Can cut that transcription, and we're going here. And then let's see if I can just paste it in real quick and then see what it says. I should have given it some more instructions, like give me an outline based on this user experience kind of thing, you know, but let me just want to see what it says real quick. Oh, perfect. I'd say this is pretty good. Okay, I'd say this is pretty good. But I do want to make it more simplified. So I'm going to say simplify and make into semi-bulleted list. And that's where we're going to stop it for now. I just wanted to sit with it. Sometimes you have to sit with this and like let things kind of like simmer in your mind. And then you create, like you take another step forward and then you realize like, okay, this is a good, you know, amount. Let me stop here. And then you have somewhere else to go. So this is good. I'm going to let my mind rest. I'm going to come back to something like this. And then we're going to work on the deck some more. And then we're going to work on simplifying the list some more. All right. So I'll talk to y'all later.